2,000 Baltimore City students at 23 different schools not proficient in math. FOX45 News investigates the push to hold school leaders accountable. And in our next half-hour, crime once again a main focus in Annapolis. The push for stronger laws for repeat offenders and why passing them will be an uphill battle.
And after a pretty start to the weekend, I'm tracking this Sunday soaker. I'll explain exactly when the showers arrive and what it means for all your Super Bowl plans today in a couple of minutes.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
Good morning to you, and thanks for being here with us this Sunday. I'm Taylor Stewart. We're going to go over your forecast, though. Meteorologist Amy Aronson in with us in her gorgeous pink, a sign of Valentine's Day, maybe, Amy?
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't wear green today for the Eagles, right? With the green screen behind me. But Super Bowl Sunday, a lot happening this weekend with Valentine's Day coming up on Tuesday, too. Today, unfortunately, doesn't look pretty out there. We've got this rain pushing in from the south here, calling it our Sunday soaker. That's what's going to send us showers as the day continues. Now, we are dry right now. Temperatures are actually up a little from this time yesterday. We're up about 5 degrees in most locations, so a little milder, puts us in the upper 30s to near 40, but that rain is going to be moving in by the later half of the morning and especially this afternoon, and that's going to cause some issues for us later on today. So coming up in 10 minutes, I will walk you through an updated timeline for the rain today. I'll also let you know exactly how much rain we're expecting. Taylor?
This morning, we begin with the shocking findings revealed in a Project Baltimore investigation. 23 city schools have 0 students proficient in math, and that's 2,000 students. Now, all of them falling short during the state standards on their most recent exams. It's prompting outrage from parents.
I can't afford no $1,000 tutor from Sylvan, but that's what he needs.
And our kids are not caught up, but we're passing them. We're passing them, but they can't read.
Terrible. Horrible.
And city and state leaders often turning a blind eye to our questions from Fox 45. Now, prominent civil rights attorney Ben Crump knows about the failures here in city schools. He's part of a lawsuit against them, and he says these findings are par for the course. Last year, he joined that lawsuit with city schools. It accuses the system of wasting taxpayer dollars and failing to provide an adequate education to generations of students. In an exclusive interview yesterday, Maxine Stryker asked him about the latest findings of these tests.
You're very familiar, obviously, with the performance of Baltimore City schools and our reporting and the lawsuit. Do you think this is a crisis moment, hearing this latest news?
I think that anytime a young person is denied quality education, it represents a crisis. And so what we have to do is look at the situation for what it is. We have to say we are failing our children, and we have to take the responsibility to do better.
Now, Dr. Ben Carson, who wrote the book Crisis in the Classroom with Crump, echoes a similar sentiment. He says the answers may just be new leaders.
The solution is to get somebody in charge who cares. Because this, let me put it this way. If it was their child and their child was in this system, and there was a responsibility for educating a child, I guarantee you, you would see different results. Obviously, you have people who just aren't that interested in doing anything about it.
That brings us to our question of the day. Should Baltimore City parents be given school choice if their child's school is failing? Now, so far, 84% of people say yes. Polls just opened, though. Head to foxbaltimore.com/vote to weigh in. Coming up in about 10 minutes here, Project Baltimore's Chris Papp speaks with one mother who's calling on someone, anybody, to help with the ongoing issues striking Baltimore City schools. How her son's feeling the impact of that school system. One Baltimore County officer remains in a shock trauma center on life support more than 36 hours after that manhunt that spanned 2 different counties. 24-year-old David Lithicum finally tracked down in Harford County early Friday morning. He escaped police twice and shot at their officers. We're going to keep you updated on that officer's condition and have more on how this manhunt unfolded in the first place. That's up in our next half hour. In a city in crisis this morning, the Department of Public Works in the hot seat, answering questions from City Council committee members about its staffing issues. Now, some of the most pressing include those of the CDL driver who drove into the trash and recycling trucks to address that problem. Now, the department says it's currently undergoing a job classification and compensation study with the help of a private company. But in the meantime, DPW says it's been hosting hiring events and calling candidates.
We were picking up the phone and calling candidates nonstop until they actually responded back to us and tell us, if they're interested in coming to work for DPW. We exhausted the list.
Now, DPW said they will be hosting more hiring events this spring. In our next half hour, Baltimore City Council member Isaac Yitzi Scheifler will be joining us, the morning show here, to weigh in on this pressing issue. And in just hours, Super Bowl 57 kicks right off here on Fox 45. We're going to take you through the main storylines out of America's biggest sporting event.
And our rain chances are on the rise today, starting by the very end of the morning and mainly continuing this afternoon and this evening. I've got an updated look at our future scan, so I'll take you through that hour by hour in just a couple of minutes. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News.
Fox 45 News, winner of 17 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
We are just hours away from kickoff Super Bowl 57, and the Eagles, Chiefs fans, they've been gathering all week in Arizona. Chris Daniels with our Sinclair sister station in Seattle is there to tell us why this is a bit of a homecoming for some of them.
It is officially Super Bowl Sunday here in Arizona. Tens of thousands of fans will flock into State Farm Stadium, while thousands of others will watch from a distance here on the ground after what has really been a week-long tailgate in the desert. Yeah!
These two fan bases have usually only had one shared beef. This game, more than just a discussion about the cheesesteaks or the BBQ.
The tiers of barbecue in Kansas City, I will take the barbecue all day long.
An NFL title is on the line. Kristen Boffo bets her Eagles will continue to fly high.
It's something in the water in South Jersey to make you an Eagles fan. Yeah.
The Arizona transplant founded the Eagles Zone here and has been hosting bird lovers all week, who have flocked south for the game at the aptly named Philly Sports Grill.
To have the Super Bowl here in Arizona and to have all these people visiting our house here means I can't even tell you. It's huge.
Crosstown.
I've been a fan since 1982. For them to be playing the Super Bowl in the town where I live, it's amazing. And for them to
Kansas City born and raised, Hachi Keene has been the prince of the Arizona Chiefs kingdom, along with a pair of super doppelgangers. He's been like the social chair for anyone wearing the red and yellow.
exciting, nerve-wracking, busy, exhausting, but so much fun.
Both Super Bowl super fans created the groups as a way to feel closer to home, and now with the game coming to them, it is the culmination of a dream season and means the mother of all tailgates is coming to an end.
Kristen and Hachi both tell me that they'll be watching the game with fellow fans at bars here in the Phoenix area, and a lot of people across the country are betting on this game. The American Gaming Association says 50 million Americans will bet a combined $16 billion on this year's Super Bowl. In Phoenix, I'm Chris Davis.
Not sure about who to root for this Super Bowl Sunday. Well, I got to make a choice really quickly here, but you could take some advice from Harry and Lloyd, the donkeys at the Maryland Zoo. They made their official predictions on Friday. It seems like a bit of a split decision. And of course, you can watch Super Bowl 57 right here on Fox 45. That pregame coverage live from Arizona, that starts at 11:30. And then we're going to take you all the way up to kickoff at 6:30. Lacrosse season already underway, and the number 2 Terps were in town to take on Loyola. Still to come on Sports Unlimited. Find out if an upset brewed here in Charm City.
I feel like they don't care.
Baltimore City Public School parents are fed up. Coming up in Project Baltimore's investigation, the major changes one mom is demanding. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. No, I know. In a city in crisis, a Project Baltimore discovery and investigation found out where one mother's calls are coming from. She says she wants anybody, to fix the school system. And as Chris Papps explains, this mother says major change needs to happen now or she's leaving.
Nothing up there for them. Nothing. They go there to get babysit for 8 hours and come home.
Nichelle Watkins is exhausted.
I feel like they don't care. It's not their children. They don't care.
After years of pleading for help from Baltimore City Public Schools.
Look around. I'm in public housing. I can't afford no $1,000 tutor from Sylvan, but that's what he needs. A tutor.
How was your school day? Pretty good.
Her son is in 4th grade at Johnston Square Elementary. For years, she says she's been trying to get the school system to hold her son back, give him time to learn the material, instead of just pushing him through the grades. 5 months ago, in October, she even wrote Project Baltimore asking for help, saying her son is not getting the education he needs.
He can't read. He's in the 4th grade. How is he supposed to be productive if he can't read?
Baltimore City is facing a devastating reality.
Then, Watkins saw this Project Baltimore story Monday night, confirming what she already knew.
When I seen the name Johnston Square on there, I knew what I was doing and what I was saying was absolutely correct.
Project Baltimore combed through the 2022 state test results known as MCAP, Maryland Comprehensive Assessment Program. Every Maryland student is tested in 3rd through 8th grade, and once again in high school in both math and English. Scores place the students in one of 4 levels. Levels 1 and 2 are considered not proficient. 3 and 4 are proficient. We found in 23 Baltimore City schools, there were 0 students who tested proficient in math. Not a single student. And on that list, Johnston Square.
I wasn't surprised. It needs to be something done today. Yeah, they get a whole lot of money, and it's coming out my check. I see it.
Baltimore City funds nearly 20% of city schools. This year, that amount hit $309 million. So Project Baltimore sent an email to every city council member and Mayor Brandon Scott. We asked, who do you hold accountable for these concerning test results? What steps will you take as an elected leader to address these low scores and improve student outcomes? And will you ask for further investigation to determine why so many schools have so few students proficient in math? Councilman Eric Costello quickly replied, saying he was dismayed by our findings, adding, "This is not the performance that we expect for Baltimore's children." Costello also explained that City Council has virtually no control over the schools, saying the council can do very little when it comes to school performance and can't even withhold funds.
That we invest in them now.
As for the mayor, we didn't receive a reply. As a mother of children who go to one of these 23 schools, do you want to hear from the mayor?
No, not really. I don't. Because what is he going to say? What is he going to do? But make a whole bunch of promises that he's not going to fulfill. So I just feel like that's pointless. I need somebody that's going to do something.
City schools also declined an interview to discuss these 23 schools, but explained in a statement the steps it's taking to improve math scores, including professional development for teachers, summer learning, and an extended learning period at the end of the day. The district said it's confident these steps will work. Watkins is not.
I have a black son that got to grow up in Baltimore City. That's why. That's why I'm so emotional. That means in Baltimore City, you having a black child, a male child at that, is only 2 ways out. You're either going to be dead or locked up. And I don't want that for my son.
Do you think you still need a tutor?
Watkins told Project Baltimore she has no hope the school system will ever improve.
I want to see hope. I really do.
Her plan is to continue working and save money. As soon as she can afford it, she says she's leaving the city.
That is the plan. That's the only thing I can see. They got to grow up. They got to be able to go to the grocery store. They got to be able to afford bills. a roof. They got to survive. I'm not going to always be here. When I close my eyes, then what?
And you don't think your son's getting the education he needs to survive?
Absolutely. He's not.
I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
All right, we want to bring meteorologist Amy Arrington into this conversation. So, Amy, I want to know, who are you rooting for this Super Bowl? I think I have an idea, though. But
this is a tough one for me. So I'm from the Philadelphia area,
right.
So I have to go Eagles. But I do love Patrick Mahomes. Like, I think he's an awesome quarterback, an awesome person, and works really hard. What about you?
I'm just here for good football. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it's going to be a good day regardless.
Yes.
I just want to see a good game.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game either way. Weather doesn't look great, but perfect excuse to stay in and just watch Super Bowl stuff all day long, right, leading up to the game. It's going to be rainy here, so keep that in mind if you are traveling to a Super Bowl party, a watch party. We've got showers as we head through much of the afternoon and evening today, and it's going to be a chilly rain that unfolds with temperatures stuck in the low 40s and upper 30s. Right now, it's the calm before the rain gets here. It's just overcast. It's just cloudy right now, starting off near 40 degrees. We end up in the mid-40s today with the showers moving in, calling it a Super Bowl soaker. We are drier to start off the work week, and we're actually looking at a nice mild week ahead of us. Here comes that weather maker. Looks like a big system right now. We can see that low well to our south, still rotating there, but shoving some moisture northward. We're already getting in on the clouds, and the showers are just now reaching extreme southern parts of Maryland. So let's track it. Our future scan's a little ahead here. I think by the end of the morning, we'll start to see the first showers arrive. By midday, we're all dealing with this soaking rain, and it's going to continue on and off this afternoon. 4 o'clock, we've got some moderate to heavier rain at times, and that's going to lead us up to kickoff for the Super Bowl this evening, actually. Even as the game wraps up and you head home afterwards, still raining at that hour, not wrapping up until overnight. By the time you head back to work and back to school Monday morning, though, we're dry again. Little chilly to start off your Monday. We'll start the day off in the mid-30s, but look at where we're headed. Temperatures are actually going to warm back up this week. We break back into the mid and upper 50s to start off the week on Monday. So here's a look at how much rain we're expecting. Actually, some locations will near an inch of rainfall today. It's location dependent. Highest amounts are expected for areas south of here in Anne Arundel County, closer to a ½ an inch in the Baltimore area. A quick look ahead shows after the rain today, we dry out nicely Monday and Tuesday with highs in the upper 50s. That will be the trend for Valentine's Day, so looking great on Tuesday. And then the 60s are actually back. So we've got mid and upper 60s Wednesday and Thursday. We are tracking some scattered showers to close out the week Thursday into Friday. And then after that, it's back to reality. So for next weekend, turning breezy and cooler again with highs returning to the upper 40s. Taylor?
Crime, a topic that's being heavily discussed in Annapolis once again this session. How Baltimore City State Attorney is weighing in on that legislation at the State House. And a manhunt spanning 2 counties leaves residents on edge. We're topping our next half hour with the tense moments leading up to David Lithicum's arrest in Harford County. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. Two Baltimore landmarks are celebrating Black History Month in a really unique opportunity. The Maryland Zoo is partnering with the Reginald Museum in Baltimore. It's giving any zoo members free tickets to the museum throughout the month of February. And we here at Fox 45, we're highlighting Black History Month all month long through our Champions of Courage series. It celebrates Marylanders who embody the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Stay tuned for the second 4 installments this Tuesday, starting at 10 o'clock at night. And still ahead, stunning video captures a boat explosion in New York, how the captain was able to make it out alive. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
Coming up on 7:30 now, and look at the harbor, just gorgeous on this Super Bowl Sunday. Thank you for being with us here. I'm Taylor Stewart. Let's get over to your forecast, though. Meteorologist Amy Aronson with an update for us this weekend. Is this a good time to get out and walk the dog? What about
now would be the time? Yeah, now would be the time if you don't want to deal with the rain, because this is a preview of what's coming. You can already see all that green to our south here. That's what's going to be pushing northward and taking over in our area over the next couple of hours. So right now is the time to knock anything outside you want to get done. We're starting off with a chill, mid-30s, low 40s to start. You will notice all these temperatures are actually above freezing, so as that moisture pushes in, should be just a chilly rain for us. Now's the time to run some last-minute Super Bowl errands, too. We're just starting off with clouds this morning, but you don't need the rain jacket or the umbrella just yet. A jacket is all you need. Temperatures starting off in the upper 30s, low 40s. By 10 a.m., that's when we'll start to see the start of the showers and the rain pushing into our area. Coming up in just over 10 minutes, I do have an updated look at the timeline for the rain today. I'll let you know exactly how long it's expected to last. Taylor?
Continuing coverage this morning as a Baltimore County police detective remains at a shock trauma center following a nearly 2-day manhunt stretching through Baltimore and Hartford counties. Now, 24-year-old David Lithicum was on the run from police from Wednesday afternoon through Friday morning after shooting 2 police officers before making his way to Hartford County. Now, he was eventually cornered and detained in Falston just before 7 a.m. Friday. Now, here's what we know about the timeline. Lithicum's father first called police Wednesday afternoon. It was about a person in crisis. Officers say Linthicum shot at an officer in his basement, managed to slip out while the officer was getting treated. Now, Thursday night around 8 o'clock, he was spotted. Hours later, he's accused of shooting a detective and then stealing that officer's SUV. Police say he fled to Falston. Police had him pinned down, had his idea of his location, and then around 10 o'clock Thursday night, they caught him. They began searching the woods, and by sunrise Friday morning, they were able to get him out of the wooded area.
We had eyes on the suspect. We had him pinned down. Our community is safer this morning with this individual in custody where he belongs.
Linthicum has been charged with attempted murder, armed carjacking, but the question remains, how was he able to shoot 2 officers, still escape the law enforcement, and be on the run for that many hours? Well, FOX45 obtained scanner audio from the threat inside Lithicum's house Wednesday afternoon. Take a listen to this.
Shots fired. 10-4 shots fired in reference to Powers Avenue. Do we need a medic started? 10-4, we have an officer bleeding. 11, he has an AR-15, dead's out, he's okay.
Now, we know Lithicum shot a Baltimore County officer who went into his basement. At that point, the other officers went to tend to that fallen officer, as we told you. And analyst Melissa Pinkleton says that may have been the perfect time for Linthicum to make his getaway.
He could have snuck out in that moment, maybe when everybody's eyes weren't on him. Number 1 rule in policing is we go home that night. When one of our brothers or sisters are shot, yes, the attention is going to be on them, getting them medical treatment and getting them out of there.
Now, Pinkleton went on to say suspects on the run often change their clothing. Linthicum also familiar with this area, meaning he may have known someone or known a more secluded hiding spot. Now, sounds of flashbangs echo through Cockeysville as police try to lure Linthicum out of hiding. Those feelings of fear turning to relief now as residents learned he is behind bars. FOX45's Keith Daniels has their perspective.
On the block where the chaos began, tranquility. There is calm after a violent storm.
I'm so relieved. It was really scary and stressful.
People who live on Powers Avenue near Sherwood Road now relieved after the chase and capture of David Lithicum, the neighbor accused of shooting a Baltimore County police officer, then holding up in a barricade situation at his home in the middle of the block. Frightening moments for residents who watched and waited.
I was just staying in my basement. I didn't want to be around any windows. You know, we had all the doors locked and everything was, staying safe.
As the search intensified in the area, so did neighbors' vigilance. In this video from a neighbor who lives near Lithicum's home, a moment when police moved in on the suspect, who by this time had slipped away from the barricade situation. The neighbor heard flashbangs.
There was another one. That's the 3rd explosion.
The neighbor says he saw police focused on a shed in the neighborhood by the suspect's home. Sounds of police engaging with Lithicum caught on video. Police called Lithicum armed and dangerous, but somehow he managed to evade capture in Cockeysville. Thursday, Baltimore County Police pressed with several questions about the situation, including how was Lithicum able to slip away from police?
At this point, I've provided all the details that we can.
Where was the officer shot?
We're not going to get into the specifics of his injuries.
Meanwhile, Lithicum was on the loose, with police shutting down streets in the area as the search continued.
I understand it's for everybody's safety, and I get it. There's a lot of woods around here. It's a scary situation.
A nightmare for some residents that's over now. Lithicum is caught.
Thank goodness.
Now, we still continue to follow this story in the coming days as the Baltimore County officer is recovering at the shock trauma center. Now, we're going to stay up to date here on air and online at foxbaltimore.com. Developing now, Baltimore City Police are upgrading a shooting Friday morning to a homicide. Police say a 44-year-old man was shot along Yearman Avenue in Northeast Baltimore. It happened around 9 a.m. They pronounced him dead just a short time thereafter. Baltimore County Police confirmed details from a shooting Friday evening that happened along Liberty Road in Randallstown. Now, officers say a man was shot just before 9. He was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. They're asking anyone who knows anything about a shooting in that area to call Baltimore County Police. Now, this comes as the debate is heating up in Annapolis over what needs to be done to curb crime. This week, state Republicans introduced a set of bills aimed at targeting repeat offenders. Vincent Hill spoke to a state delegate and political analyst about crime priorities and why the bill likely will not get Democrat support.
If you're convicted of a misdemeanor, which where carrying, transport, a handgun is, that you only serve 25% of your time. So my clients, as a defense attorney, knew that's 8 months.
Momentum growing out of Annapolis for City State's Attorney Ivan Bates' tougher sentencing on crimes bill, which is likely to pass. Republicans want to go even further on crime, introducing a companion bill, Senate Bill 745, the Gun Violence Accountability Act. But Republicans want to go even further.
The soft on crime policies that have been passed in Annapolis over the last few years have resulted in hundreds and hundreds of deaths of innocent people.
Introducing a set of sweeping bills in the House, the No Bail for Repeat Offenders Act, the Juvenile Gun Offense Accountability Act, and the Gun Theft Act.
Making stealing a gun a felony, a reasonable bill.
State delegate from Baltimore County, Kathy Slaga, says it's time for a change.
They tried not prosecuting, they tried plea bargaining and excusing people who have firearms illegally, and it doesn't work.
Slaga says current policies aren't working. So how likely is it that any of the bills will pass?
Slim and none.
Political analyst John Deedy says it all comes down to who's in control.
When you have the majority as a political party, the idea is to bury the hell out of the minority party.
Democrats are the majority in both the House and Senate. Deedy says it comes down to who appears to be doing the most for public safety.
Democrats are going to want to take credit for tough on crime bills. And while the Republican bills may be very similar to the Democratic bills, the thing is, you don't want to give the other party credit for coming up with a good idea.
Meanwhile, Delegate Slaga says it's not about getting credit, it's about saving lives.
We have an escalation in murders in Baltimore County, over 300 in Baltimore City. So I think it's time.
Now, Senator Jill Carter is one of the original authors of Maryland's juvenile justice reform law. It prohibits children under the age of 13 from facing criminal charges unless it's a serious offense. But Carter says she's working on legislation to clarify that law. Still to come, though, we are continuing coverage leading up to this year's Super Bowl. The history being made at Super Bowl 57, and where you can watch it, well, right here on Fox 45.
And here comes the rain. Soaking rain is expected to move in as we head through the rest of the day today. I've got an updated look at exactly when we'll see the showers and the heaviest rain arrive here in a couple of minutes. It's 7:38. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News.
Valentine's Day is just 2 days away, and everyone's encouraged to put some love in a letter and send it to somebody in need. Children's hospitals, nursing homes, shelters, even frontline employers are all accepting Valentine's Day cards and treats. At St. Jude's Children's Hospital, they're accepting virtual cards. The hospital also taking monetary donations, and they've partnered with some Amazon storefronts for donations and gift items. AARP is bringing back its Cupid Crew initiative, sending heartfelt messages to socially isolated seniors. And love isn't always cheap. In fact, it's pretty expensive. Nearly $26 billion will be spent this Valentine's Day, according to projections from the survey of National Retail Federation. On average, most folks say they spend about $192 on Valentine's Day. As far as presents go, the top is, the cards, the candy, the flowers, but obviously some bigger items in there, the $192. Wow. All right. Well, we want to see how you're celebrating this Valentine's Day. Go ahead and send us your pictures as you spend your time with that special somebody. You can do it through the Chime In app at foxbaltimore.com, or go ahead and use your phone, WBFF. And just coming up here, we've got the Miss HBCU Teen Pageant update. We'll have queens in the building, and we'll share about the event coming up. And if you haven't realized already, it is Super Bowl Sunday here at Fox 45. Our coverage starts at 11:30 right here, and it will continue as the game begins. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. A state health initiative aims to make signing up for health care as simple as checking a box. Vincent DeMarco with Maryland Citizens Health Initiative joins us live in studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So tell me a bit about this first of its kind health program where folks can really make up signing for health care really just that simple.
In 2019, thanks to the leadership of Delegate Jocelyn Pena-Melnick and Senator Brian Feldman, Maryland became the first state in the country to create a checkbox at tax time where people are asked, are you uninsured? And if you answer yes, you're asked, can we, the comptroller's office, share your information with the exchange and get you enrolled? And since then, we're happy to say that over 100,000 people have checked that box and over 10,000 of them have gotten enrolled, which is great. And we were thrilled that Senator Chris Van Hollen announced Friday with Comptroller Brooke Learman and Lieutenant Governor Aruna Miller that he is going to introduce national legislation to have this all around the country. If you are not insured right now and have not filed your taxes, check the box and get yourself insured. It's good for you. It's good for all of us.
So it allows folks who don't have insurance to get insurance, either because they don't have a job or they're not connected, but can they get supplemental insurance if you already have insurance through the state?
Well, if you don't already have insurance, you don't need to worry about this box, and you can call the Health Exchange to get enrolled. We have, in something better if you need that, we have the best health benefit exchange in the country, and they've done a wonderful job. It's very, very important for all of us that everybody gets insured. We were all thrilled when Governor Westmore in his inaugural address said that we've got to reach 250,000 uninsured people for their sake and all of us to reduce our health insurance premiums. And let me just say that many of those uninsured people are eligible and unenrolled. That's why the Easy Enrollment Program is one of the most important in the country in getting those folks enrolled. And over 9 other states have adopted these programs, and we're hoping that Senator Chris Van Hollen can get it done nationally. But the message is, if you are not enrolled, check the box, get enrolled at tax time.
Okay, so it's easy as doing your taxes and checking the box. Is there anywhere online that folks can read more information about this?
Yes, MarylandHealthConnection.gov, and you can find out how to upgrade your health care coverage. Thanks to President Biden, there are now a lot more subsidies available for people. We have youth subsidies available for people in Maryland. Maryland's the 5th best state in the nation in getting people covered. We want to go to first best and go to healthcareforall.com to find out how you can help make that happen.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. DeMarco. Appreciate the insight to get all of our Marylanders signed up for health coverage. All right. Let's head over now to meteorologist Amy Aronson for a look at the weather. A little bit of rain coming our way, Amy.
Coming our way this afternoon. Right now, we're just starting off with some clouds draped over Towson. It's the calm before the rain actually gets here. Little chilly to start. We're all hanging out in the mid-30s to near 40 degrees right now. Technically, that puts us above freezing. So as that moisture moves in, it will be an all-rain event for us. And here comes that weather maker. A complex system actually pushing in from the south here. That's what's going to send us all the rain as we head through much of the day today. Sunday soaker, that's what we're up against. Looks like the first showers will start here by the tail end of the morning, right around 10 a.m. Looks like some steadier rain as we head through the afternoon. As we near kickoff for the big game tonight, if you're headed to any Super Bowl watch parties, I would bring the umbrella, the rain jacket, because at that point we are tracking some steady rainfall. And steady rain will actually take us through game's end. So even when you head home late tonight, looks like we're still dealing with some showers before we start to dry out and clear out as we head back to work and back to school Monday morning. Today looks like a washout. After 10 a.m., we'll start to see some showers develop. The steadiest rain pushes through this afternoon and this evening. It's going to be a chilly rain, too, with temperatures actually stuck in the low to mid 40s today. Tonight, the rain continues. Perfect excuse to stay in and watch a little bit of football, right? And remember, you can watch the game right here on Fox 45 for all your Super Bowl parties. We are tracking steady rain, though, through much of tonight, with temperatures hanging out in the low 40s and upper 30s. Now, the good news is by Valentine's Day on Tuesday, we're actually drying out. So for all your Valentine's Day plans at that point, we're looking much better. Not only are we going to welcome back some sunshine by Tuesday, temperatures are going to warm back up and make a run for the mid and actually upper 50s at that point. So we've got to get through the rain and the chilly day today, but after that, another mild week ahead of us. We've got upper 50s both Monday and for Valentine's Day on Tuesday, mid 60s by midweek, and actually upper 60s on Thursday as a new weather maker moves in. This one will send us a chance for some scattered showers Thursday into Friday, and behind that, it is back to reality by next weekend, turning brisk with highs in the upper 40s by next Saturday. Taylor?
Still ahead on Sports Unlimited, today marks the biggest sports Sunday of the year. We're going to preview Super Bowl 57 as the Eagles and Chiefs face off.
Welcome into your morning sports report. I'm Rocco DeSangro. Maryland lacrosse entered the season with a big target on its back. That, of course, comes with being the defending national champs. At a number 2 ranking next to the name, you're going to get the opposition's best every single time you take the field. Loyola looking to upset the Terps in Charm City, and the Greyhounds set the tempo early on. Seth Higgins feeds Adam Poitras, and 5-1 rifles one into the back of the net. Greyhounds on the attack again. This time it's Evan James. He's got 2 first names, and he had 3 goals. Loyola takes a 2-0 lead. Terps looking to answer. Daniel Kelly, top cheese. Maryland unable to take the lead in this one, though. Loyola upsets the Terps. 12-7 the final score. Johns Hopkins getting a tough draw in its home opener. Blue Jays hosting number 3 Georgetown, and this one came down to the wire. Behind a 4-goal game from Russell Melendez and hat tricks from Garrett Degnan and Jonathan Peshko, the Blue Jays get the 13-12 win. Maryland women's lacrosse opening the season against St. Joe's in College Park. Terps scored 7 in the first and never looked back. Hat tricks from Jordan Lipkin and Chrissy Thomas as Maryland handles St. Joe's. 15-5 the Terps, so they get number 5 Syracuse up next. Over at Xfinity Center, it was Maryland basketball playing host to Penn State. Check this out. Who said Turtles are slow? They're running. Jameer Young up top to Ian Martinez. Dunk you very much. Second half, Terps up 4. Seth Lundy. 3-ball, cuts it to 1. Just over 4 to play, though. Hakeem Hart, the Philly guy, just took over. Dancing on him, loses the defender, the foul, the bucket. He led the way with 23. The Terps beat Penn State 74-68. That's a program record 10th straight Big Ten home win for the Terps. Towson men's basketball on the road in Philly taking on Drexel. Tigers down 5. Nick Timberlake with the ball fake for 3, knocks it down. Cam Holden would tie it at the line, and this one would go to OT. In overtime, Holden gets a tough shot to fall right there, puts the Tigers up 2. Under 2 to go, though. Yame Butler on the drive, the spin, the foul, the bucket. Made free throw puts Drexel up 1, and the Dragons go on to win this one. 73-66 the final score. UMBC men's basketball welcoming Bryant to town. Retrievers had a tough time with Sharif Bullock-Gross. He dropped 39, but the Retrievers were putting on points by committee. 18 from Trayvon Fagan, 15 from Craig Bidone, 13 from Jacob Bunyasit, and 12 from Yal Bang Mensah. UMBC goes on to win it, 76-73 the final score. UMBC women's basketball in search of their 3rd straight win. Retrievers on the road against Bryant. Keila Dixon scored 16. Kiara Bell had 12. That's points, 12 rebounds. 12 was her lucky number. That's a double-double for her. They were 2 of 5 that scored in double figures as UMBC goes on to get the win. 75-69 the final. Loyola women's basketball looking to snap its 9-game losing streak. Greyhounds cut it to 9 at the half as Lex Terrian beats the buzzer. You're going to see it here. She had 22 and 12. But Loyola falls in this one. 67-59 the final score. Loyola men's basketball on the road against Lehigh. Deion Perry was in his bag. Step back 3 for the lead. He gets fouled in the process. Career high 28 from Deion as Loyola wins it. 91-82 the final. Coppin State men's and women's basketball teams on the road against South Carolina State. The men fall to the Bulldogs 94-84 rather, while the women's team they lost 61-50. Morgan State women's basketball, they are scorching hot in conference play right now. They picked up a big win over North Carolina Central to remain undefeated in MEAC play. The men's team dropped its game with NC Central 83-63, the final score. 2 teams, 1 dream to hoist that Lombardi Trophy high in the air. Tonight, that's the night that the Eagles and Chiefs square off in Super Bowl 57. Jalen Hurts, he's eyeing his first, while Patrick Mahomes looks for his second. Both quarterbacks, they're ready to get this show on the road.
You know, this is the last one that this team will go out there and play together. We had our last Thursday practice today. You know what I mean? Little things like that resonate with us and with me. So besides anything else that'll come with it, you know, we all just want to go leave it all out on the line.
You work your tail off to be in this game and to play on the world stage, and you dream about it as a little kid when you're watching at Super Bowl parties and with your dad and your mom and everybody like that. And so to be able to play in this game is truly special, and you appreciate it every single time. And I'm excited to step back on that field and get to go out there with my teammates one last time.
If you're watching with us right now, Stay with us all day long. Get the buff chick dip ready. Get the Tostitos, the chips, the dips, the wings, everything. Keep this channel on. You can catch all the action from Super Bowl Sunday right here on Fox 45 coverage. It's going to begin at 11, and that'll lead up to kickoff at 6:30 between the Eagles and the Chiefs. That's your morning sports report. I'm Rocco DeSangro for Sports Unlimited. Have a great Super Bowl Sunday.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
All right, we're coming on air here with breaking news this morning. Baltimore City Police are investigating 3 different overnight shootings. One, according to police, involves 3 children. Now, let's start off here at 6 a.m. Police were called out to Bel Air Road in northeast Baltimore. They say 3 young people were playing with a gun. It went off. A 14-year-old was shot in the leg. And then before that, around 2 a.m., police say they responded to a shooting in the same district along Quantrell Way. Police say there was a person who was approached by another group. There was an attempted robbery, and that ended in a shooting. And then 11 o'clock last night in southeast Baltimore, police responding to Matthews Street. They got there. Officers say someone was suffering from a stab wound and a gunshot wound. All of these victims taken to the hospital, and they're there for treatment this morning. Thanks for being with us this Sunday. I'm Taylor Stewart. Let's get over to your forecast, though. Meteorologist Amy Aronson is giving us a really nice update on the weather because, you know, that rain's coming, but it could be out of here in time for plans tonight, maybe?
Unfortunately not.
No?
It looks like it's going to be stuck with us. Yeah, this is a big system we've got to get through, so it's going to take some time, and it's not even really here yet. The good news is we're dry right now, so if you want to knock anything out, maybe squeeze in a jog or a run or get the dog out this morning, run some last-minute errands before Super Bowl parties tonight. It's dry at the moment, but you can see where the edge of the rain is, just now pushing into extreme southern parts of the state, and of course will be next. And once it moves in, doesn't really let up. And it's going to be a chilly rain. We're not tracking any winter precipitation because these numbers are all above freezing. We've got mid and upper 30s to near 40 to get your Sunday morning started. But I expect showers to be moving in by 10 a.m. Some drizzle to start with some steadier rain this afternoon, and actually the heaviest rain coming this evening through late tonight. It's going to be very chilly. Temperatures will be stuck in the low 40s as all this wet weather pushes through our area. Now, coming up in 10 minutes, I'll let you know exactly how much rain we're expecting today and then what's going to happen later this week once this rain finally gets out of here. Taylor?
All right, we're starting off here with the new findings that was revealed in a Project Baltimore study. It found that 23 city schools don't have any students proficient in math. That is 2,000 students, all falling short of the state standards on most recent exams. It's prompting, obviously, some outrage from parents who send their kids to school.
I can't afford no $1,000 tutor from Sylvan, but that's what he needs.
And our kids are not caught up, but we're passing them. We're passing them, but they can't read.
Terrible. Horrible.
City and state leaders often turning a blind eye or ignoring our questions. But prominent civil rights attorney Ben Crump says the failures of city schools, he knows these well, and they're par for the course, unfortunately. Last year, he joined a lawsuit against city schools. It accuses the school system of wasting taxpayer dollars and failing to provide an adequate education for generations of students. In an exclusive interview, he spoke to Maxine Stryker yesterday, and she asked him about his take on the latest results.
You're very familiar, obviously, with the performance of Baltimore City Schools and our reporting and the lawsuit. Do you think this is a crisis moment, hearing this latest news?
I think that anytime a young person is denied quality education, it represents a crisis. And so what we have to do is look at the situation for what it is. We have to say we are failing our children, and we have to take the responsibility to do better.
Now, Dr. Ben Carson, who wrote the book Crisis in the Classroom, he echoed a similar sentiment. He says that the answers may be just getting new leaders.
The solution is to get somebody in charge who cares. Because let me put it this way. If it was their child and their child was in this system and there was a responsibility for educating a child, I guarantee you would see different results. Obviously, you have people who just aren't that interested in doing anything about it.
That brings us to our question of the day. Should Baltimore City leaders and parents, rather, be given the choice to send their child to school elsewhere if their school is failing? So far, 91% of people say yes. You can head to foxbaltimore.vote/vote to weigh in. This morning, a Baltimore County officer. Now, after more than 36 hours of a manhunt that spanned 2 different counties, David Lithicum finally tracked down in Hartford County. It happened early Friday morning, but he escaped police twice before and shot 2 officers, according to Baltimore police. Now, we're going to keep you updated on the officer's condition and have more on how the manhunt unfolded. That's in our next half hour. The Department of Public Works is struggling to get new hires in the door amid a staff shortage. Now, leaders with the department face some tough questions from city council members about its staffing problems. Some of the most pressing openings include CDL drivers who drive the trash and recycling trucks. To address that problem, the department says it's going through a job classification and compensation study with the help of a private company. In the meantime, DPW says it's been hosting hiring events and calling candidates.
We were picking up the phone and calling candidates nonstop until they actually responded back to us and tell us, if they're interested in coming to work for DPW. We exhausted the list.
Now, DPW says they'll be hosting more hiring events in the spring. Now, as those staffing shortages and salary issues become 2 of the biggest issues facing public works, it's impacted folks getting their trash picked up in the city. Now, they were questioned during Wednesday's Baltimore City meeting, and now Council Member Yitzi Scheifler is joining us live this morning to weigh in. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Taylor.
Now, when you guys asked leaders at DPW about these ongoing issues, what was their response and were you satisfied with it?
So we've never gotten any clear answers from DPW over the past year. They just keep kicking the can down the road and deferring and letting us know that they'll get back to us at a later date. And so they have no plan and they have no answers to these questions.
And when you guys pressed them, did you get the sentiment that these hiring events are amounting to them getting more folks in the door?
No, absolutely not. I mean, they right now are in the middle of championing a plan to have community groups hire 75 plus workers to clean 15 neighborhoods, while at the same time, had we used that money to hire those 75 employees, we'd be able to get services up and running for the 300 neighborhoods in the city. And so they're completely out of touch with the needs of the city, and they just have no direction on how to correct these longstanding issues. And so unless something dramatically changes, routine services are not going to be performing like they were over a year ago because of plans like these.
How much of this do you think has contributed to the reversal to the bi-weekly pickup schedule rather than the weekly pickup schedule that we know began around the pandemic? Do you think is that the problem here?
No, the problem isn't the pandemic. The problem is the leadership at DPW that has failed to make sure that their workers have adequate working conditions, are being compensated appropriately. And so what we're finding is that these workers are leaving to go to private contractors, and then the city's now being forced to hire private contractors to perform these duties. And so since it's now costing them a lot more to do that, they're just not performing these routine functions that are currently in this year's budget for them to perform. And so they're just trying to go to an every other week pickup, although it's required by law that weekly curbside collection, both for trash and recycling, is performed. So DPW is in violation of city law right now.
And we've heard stories here on Fox 45 from overworked workers who say they are coming into work and seeing the trash piled up just as we've seen here, and they don't know what else to do. What do you think DPW needs to do to change immediately to get this under control?
I mean, you got to prioritize in-house first. You have to, it's insulting for the workers at DPW when they see their agency giving over $15 million to 15 community groups to clean up in the city, to clean 15 neighborhoods, excuse me. And so, they're paying these private groups to get new equipment and to pay employees when they're not getting their own employees in DPW the correct equipment that they need to perform these functions. And so had they used that money for in-house and DPW, they would have equipment that they need and they would have the staffing that they need as well.
Last question here. What's next?
What's next is we're going to continue to hold them accountable. And the only way the city council has to be able to hold agencies accountable is through the budget process, because clearly they fail to answer us during any of these oversight hearings. And so this year in the budget, the city council has control to cut and both add to the budget, and there will be changes to their budget this year.
All right, we'll be on the lookout for that. Councilman Scheifler, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, in just a few hours here, Super Bowl 57 kicks off on Fox 45. We're going to take you through all those main storylines that make us all love the game of football ahead of America's biggest sporting event.
And leading up to that game today, rain chances are unfortunately only increasing. We are looking at a soggy afternoon and evening ahead of us. I've got an updated look at the timeline of the rain and how much we're expecting in a couple of minutes. It's 8:10. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News.
Fox 45 News, winner of 17 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
Yeah, look at this. Some crazy video coming out of New York as a boat explodes on Long Island with the man on board. It sent debris all over the harbor. Fire officials say the man was trapped under some debris in the cabin, but they were able to get him out. He has some serious burns and had to be airlifted to a nearby hospital. And take a look at this, an odd police chase in Massachusetts turning heads. Surveillance video shows an emu strolling through an intersection of the Mallory. Emu, it's actually nearby residents' pets who escaped his 6-foot fence. Then it was scared by a wild animal and just ran off.
It can do about 35, so she was flying. She ran all the way up to the intersection and then cut into a field. I got up to her at the field, and I was walking with her there, and she wouldn't come to. She was terrified.
Well, it took about 3 hours for police to finally corral Mallory at a nearby shopping center. Well, she's back now. She seems to be doing all right, but she's suffering from a minor leg injury, they say. Still ahead, David Lithicum now in custody after an extensive manhunt, but how was he able to evade police twice? A law enforcement analyst offers her perspective. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. We're just hours away from kickoff Super Bowl 57, and the Eagles and the Chiefs, they've been getting together all week in Arizona. Well, at least fans have. Chris Daniels with our Sinclair sister station in Seattle is there to tell us why this is a bit of a homecoming for some of them.
It is officially Super Bowl Sunday here in Arizona. Tens of thousands of fans will flock into State Farm Stadium, while thousands of others will watch from a distance here on the ground after what has really been a week-long tailgate in the desert. These two fan bases have usually only had one shared beef. This game, more than just a discussion about the cheesesteaks or the BBQ.
The tiers of barbecue in Kansas City. I will take the barbecue all day long.
An NFL title is on the line. Kristen Boffo bets her Eagles will continue to fly high.
It's something in the water in South Jersey to make you an Eagles fan. Yeah.
The Arizona transplant founded the Eagles Zone here and has been hosting bird lovers all week. who have flocked south for the game at the aptly named Philly Sports Grill.
To have the Super Bowl here in Arizona and to have all these people visiting our house here means I can't even tell you. It's huge.
Crosstown.
I've been a fan since 1982. For them to be playing the Super Bowl in the town where I live, it's amazing. And for them to
Kansas City born and raised, Hachi Keen has been the prince of the Arizona Chiefs kingdom, along with a pair of super doppelgangers. He's been like the social chair for anyone wearing the red and yellow.
exciting, nerve-wracking, busy, exhausting, but so much fun.
Both Super Bowl super fans created the groups as a way to feel closer to home, and now with the game coming to them, it is the culmination of a dream season and means the mother of all tailgates is coming to an end. Kristen and Hachi both tell me that they'll be watching the game with fellow fans at bars here in the Phoenix area, and a lot of people across the country are betting on this game. The American Gaming Association says 50 million Americans will bet a combined $16 billion on this year's Super Bowl. In Phoenix, I'm Chris Davis.
Well, it's going to be a historic Super Bowl for several reasons here. The quarterback battle between Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. It's the first time two black quarterbacks are squaring off. It's also the first time two brothers are playing against each other, with Travis Jason Kelce suiting up on opposite sides. Now, that makes for some difficult decisions for mom, but hey, at least both of their sons are on the offense.
I am going to be screaming the entire game. Whoever has the ball. I want it to be the highest scoring Super Bowl ever in the history of Super Bowls.
Making records. Let's do it.
Who are you actually rooting for?
I'm rooting for the offense. I can't pick.
No. Yeah, right, of course. And check this out. Kelsey's high school in Ohio, all lit up in red and green to support both of their hometown heroes. What an awesome face-off. Well, if you're still not sure about who you're rooting for this Super Bowl Sunday, you got to make a decision pretty quick here. And maybe take some advice from Harry and Lloyd, the donkeys at the Maryland Zoo. Why not? They made their official predictions on Friday, and you could kind of sit on the fence with this. Their decision was split. And you know where to watch Super Bowl 57, right here, Fox 45. The pregame coverage starts live in Arizona at 11:30. We're taking you there all the way to kickoff at 6:30. And what a great day to celebrate the game inside. Because
Yeah.
It's going to be a little rainy. But, Amy, who are you rooting for?
So I'm going Eagles because I'm from Philly, but love Patrick Mahomes. So also, like you, rooting for a good game, right? It's just going to be fun to watch in general. I think it's going to be a good matchup. Weather doesn't look great if you're headed any Super Bowl watch parties or any festivities this evening. Unfortunately, I'm tracking soaking rain with temperatures stuck in the very chilly low 40s, upper 30s. So there's going to be a chill, there's going to be rain, and that's actually going to take us through the end of the game. Right now, though, we're all dry at the moment. So if you want to run some last-minute errands, maybe head to the store and pick up that dip. We are just cloudy right now. Cloudy and cool. We're in the 40s to begin, near 40 degrees currently, mid-40s where we're headed today. I'm tracking that Super Bowl soaker. A drier start to the week, though, and actually a mild week ahead of us. Temperatures will be warming after we get this mess through. Now, it's a complex storm. We've got that area of low pressure rotating off to our south. All this moisture, though, already starting to stream in. For us, it's going to be a mostly rain event. Yes, we could see a few wet flakes mix in, but I think with our temperatures hovering above freezing, it's just going to be a chilly rain for us. And showers should actually start here shortly. Drizzle to begin by the end of the morning, and then I think that steadier rain picks up right around midday. On and off showers throughout the afternoon. Some steady rain at times right around 4 o'clock. So as you're maybe heading out to that Super Bowl party, I'd bring the umbrella and the rain jacket with you, because rain will continue through kickoff and then through game's end, actually. So even heading home late tonight, we're still up against some showers. As the rain clears out of here, temperatures will be colder Monday morning, but then temperatures are going to warm very quickly. By Monday afternoon, we're already breaking back into the mid and actually upper 50s again. In terms of how much rain we're expecting today, it's actually a decent soaking. We are looking at close to an inch for areas south of Baltimore, closer to a half an inch as you head further north. You'll notice there's a sharp cutoff. Westminster barely picking up anything, 7/100th of an inch there. So most of the rain will be from Baltimore on off to the south and east. And all that rain gets out of here by Monday. After that, we're going to dry out nicely and warm up. Temperatures in the upper 50s. 50s both Monday and for Valentine's Day on Tuesday. After that, even warmer. Not going to feel like February again this week. In advance of another weather maker, we're briefly back in the mid and upper 60s Wednesday and Thursday with scattered showers moving back in. So plan on some scattered showers Thursday into Friday, and then we're going to be cooling back down again. So it's back to reality again by the following weekend. The sunshine returns next Saturday, but temperatures will be settling back into the much colder upper 40s. Taylor?
Crime being discussed pretty heavily in Annapolis once again this session. How Baltimore City State Attorney Ivan Bates is weighing in on some legislation that's in the State House right now. And a manhunt that spanned 2 counties in multiple days left residents on edge. They're taking a sigh of relief now, though, after the arrest of David Lithica. We're going to top our next half hour with a wrap-up of what happened. Two Baltimore landmarks are celebrating Black History Month this week through a really unique way. Zoo Maryland is partnering with the Reginald F. Lewis Museum in Baltimore and giving any zoo members free tickets to the museum through the month of February. Get them out now. And here at Fox 45, we're highlighting Black History Month through our Champions of Courage series. We're celebrating Marylanders who embody the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Stay tuned for the second of 4 installments this Tuesday tonight at 10 o'clock. All right, let's go for a look of today's steals and deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
I'm so excited to bring back one of our top sellers, one of our very top sellers, the Solar Wave. Now, this little device, so good. This little device uses red light therapy, warmth and massage, as well as microcurrent to stimulate your skin to improve those fine lines, wrinkles, and tighten everything. All I can say, we see a ton of products. People send us everything, and we found this superstar just for you. I know the beauty space is really overwhelming, so we did all the work for you. We curated this product. The before and afters speak for themselves, and it's not only great for your face, but it's also great for your neck and your chest areas, and these are areas we often ignore. All you have to do, just wait for it, is use it for 5 minutes a day. That's it. And you will start to see results. You just have to roll it over your face. That's it. I keep it right by my nightstand. You can feel it working on your skin. The tightening, absolutely relaxing. It just feels good. Now, we all love finding at-home beauty tools that we can use without going to the spa and spending all that extra money or all that extra time. We're offering 33% off the Solar Wave. I would advise all of you to buy this now because it's not going to last. So to take advantage of this deal and so many more, go to asadeals.com.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
Good morning to you. Thanks for being with us this Super Bowl Sunday, February 12th here. I'm Taylor Stewart. Let's get on over to your forecast. Meteorologist Amy Aronson. It's looking rainy behind you, girl.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming slowly but surely. That rain is pushing in from the south, actually already showing up in the Annapolis area. So they're the first to see the showers, and they'll continue to push northward over the next couple of hours. Temperatures are all just above freezing. It's a really chilly, raw rain. We've got mid and upper 30s to near 40 to start off your morning. So if you want to run any last-minute errands, I think you've got until about 10 a.m. if you're in the Baltimore area before we start to see some drizzle arrive here. And after that, some light rain will continue through the morning, some steadier rain this afternoon and this evening, with temperatures actually stuck in the low to mid 40s pretty much all day today. So not a great day for outdoor plans. Better day to stay in and watch a little bit of football. Now, coming up in 10 minutes, I will break down your forecast for the rest of the day, let you know exactly what to expect for all your Super Bowl plans this evening in just about 10 minutes. Taylor?
All right, some breaking news for you this morning. Baltimore City Police are investigating 3 overnight shootings. Let's start with the first one. According to police, that involves 3 children. At 6 a.m., police were called out to Bel Air Road in Northeast Baltimore. They say young people were playing with a gun. It went off. A 14-year-old, they say, was shot in the leg and taken to the hospital. Then just before that, around 2 a.m., police responded to a shooting in that same district along Quantrell Way. Police say someone was approached by a group of people during an attempted robbery. That person was shot. And then at 11 o'clock last night in southeast Baltimore, police responded to St. Matthew Street. When they got there, they found somebody suffering from a stab wound and a gunshot wound, multiple gunshot wounds, rather. They say each of these victims were taken to the hospital, and they're there right now for treatment. This morning, our coverage continues as Baltimore County Police, that officer, the detective, is still in the shock trauma center. This after a nearly 2-day manhunt that stretched through Baltimore and Harford counties. 24-year-old David Lickham was on the run from police from Wednesday afternoon through Friday morning. He shot 2 police officers and made his way to Harford County. Detectives there say he was eventually cornered and detained in Falston. That happened just before 7 a.m. on Friday. Here's what we know about the timeline, though. Lithicum's father called police on Wednesday afternoon. It was a person in crisis call. Officers say they got there. Lithicum was able to shoot an officer in the basement, and while that officer was being treated, Lithicum was able to slip out. Then Thursday at 8, he was spotted. Just an hour later, he's accused of shooting a police detective and taking that officer's vehicle. Police say he drove to Falston, but police had him pinned down. They knew his location. Now, around 10 o'clock Thursday night, they began searching a wooded area, and by sunrise, they were able to locate him.
We had eyes on the suspect. We had him pinned down. Our community is safer this morning with this individual in custody where he belongs.
Now, he's been charged with attempted murder and armed carjacking. The question remains, though, how he was able to shoot 2 police officers and still escape law enforcement. Now, we obtained scanner audio, though, from the threat inside Lithicum's house Wednesday afternoon when he first slipped away.
Shots fired. 10-4 shots fired in reference to Powers Avenue. Do we need a medic started? 10-4, we have an officer bleeding. 11 yells an AR-15, dead's out, he's okay.
Now, we know Lithicum shot a Baltimore County officer who went into his basement. According to police, they say the other officers were tending to the fallen officer's injuries when that happened. Law enforcement analyst Melissa Pinkleton says that was likely the perfect and only time for Lithicum to make his getaway.
He could have snuck out in that moment, maybe when everybody's eyes weren't on him. Number one rule in policing is we go home that night. When one of our brothers or sisters are shot, yes, the attention is going to be on them, getting them medical treatment and getting them out of there.
Now, Pinkleton went on to say that suspects on the run often change their clothes, and Lithicum was familiar with the area, so he may have known some more secluded spots to hide. The sounds of flashbangs echoed through Cockeysville as police tried to lure David Lithicum out of hiding. Those feelings of fear turned to relief as residents learned he is now behind bars. Fox 45's Keith Daniels has their perspective.
On the block where the chaos began, tranquility. There is calm after a violent storm.
I'm so relieved. It was really scary and stressful.
People who live on Powers Avenue near Sherwood Road now relieved after the chase and capture of David Lithicum, the neighbor accused of shooting a Baltimore County police officer, then holding up in a barricade situation at his home in the middle of the block. Frightening moments for residents who watched and waited.
I was just staying in my basement. I didn't want to be around any windows. You know, we had all the doors locked and everything was, staying safe.
As the search intensified in the area, so did neighbors' vigilance. In this video from a neighbor who lives near Lithicum's home, a moment when police moved in on the suspect, who by this time had slipped away from the barricade situation. The neighbor heard flashbangs.
There was another one. That's the third explosion.
The neighbor says he saw police focused on a shed in the neighborhood by the suspect's home. Sounds of police engaging with Lithicum caught on video. Police called Lithicum armed and dangerous, but somehow he managed to evade capture in Cockeysville. Thursday, Baltimore County Police pressed with several questions about the situation, including how was Lithicum able to slip away from police?
At this point, I've provided all the details that we can.
Where was the officer shot?
We're not going to get into the specifics of his injuries.
Meanwhile, Lithicum was on the loose, with police shutting down streets in the area as the search continued.
I understand it's for everybody's safety, and I get it. There's a lot of woods around here. It's a scary situation.
A nightmare for some residents that's over now. Lithicum is caught.
Thank goodness.
Now, we're going to continue to follow this investigation, and throughout the coming days, the Baltimore County police officer will continue to check on his condition at the Shock Trauma Center. We are going to stay up to date here on air and online at foxbaltimore.com. In Annapolis, the debate is heating up over what needs to be done to curb crime. This session, we know that Republicans have introduced a set of bills that is aimed at targeting repeat offenders. Benton Hill spoke to a state delegate and political analyst about the crime priorities and why this bill is likely not going to get support from Democrats.
If you're convicted of a misdemeanor, which where, carry, and transport a handgun is, that you only serve 25% of your time. So my clients, as a defense attorney, knew that's 8 months.
Momentum growing out of Annapolis for City State's Attorney Ivan Bates' tougher sentencing on crimes bill, which is likely to pass. Republicans want to go even further on crime Introducing a companion bill, Senate Bill 745, the Gun Violence Accountability Act, but Republicans want to go even further.
The soft on crime policies that have been passed in Annapolis over the last few years have resulted in hundreds and hundreds of deaths of innocent people.
Introducing a set of sweeping bills in the House, the No Bail for Repeat Offenders Act, the Juvenile Gun Offense Accountability Act, and the Gun Theft Act.
Making stealing a gun a felony, a reasonable bill.
State Delegate from Baltimore County, Kathy Slaga, says it's time for a change.
They tried not prosecuting, they tried plea bargaining and excusing people who have firearms illegally, and it doesn't work.
Slaga says current policies aren't working. So how likely is it that any of the bills will pass?
Slim and none.
Political analyst John Deedy says it all comes down to who's in control.
When you have the majority as a political party, the idea is to bury the hell out of the minority party.
Democrats are the majority in both the House and Senate. Deedy says it comes down to who appears to be doing the most for public safety.
Democrats are going to want to take credit for tough on crime bills. And while the Republican bills may be very similar to the Democratic bills, the thing is, you don't want to give the other party credit for coming up with a good idea.
Meanwhile, Delegate Slaga says it's not about getting credit, it's about saving lives.
We have an escalation in murders in Baltimore County, over 300 in Baltimore City. So I think it's time.
Senator Jill Carter is one of the original authors of Maryland's juvenile justice reform law. It prohibits children under 13 from facing criminal charges unless it's a serious offense. But Carter says she's working on legislation to now clarify that law. Now, we're a month into the 2023 legislative session, and we want to recap what's on the floor, what's been discussed, and most importantly, what's been accomplished. Political analyst John Deedy is joining us this morning. Good morning to you, John.
Good morning.
We're seeing a lot of movement here with crime legislation, companion bills to something that was already introduced by Ivan Bates. Is this going to go anywhere? I know we see crime legislation tend to stall in the House. Tell us where your assessment is right now.
My sense is things are going places, and I think when you're talking about giving credit, it really has to go to Ivan Bates. The bill that they're looking at now is Senate Bill 889, which would make the maximum penalties for carrying a gun increase to 5 years across the board. This is something a lot of Democrats have gotten behind. A month ago, people weren't enthused. But when Ivan Bates said, this is what I need, and, you know, with the election, with the former state's attorney out, a new broom sweeps clean. So I think for a lot of people, they're looking at this. Bates is leading the charge. He's politically popular. And when you're an elected official, you want to tie yourself to politically popular people. So I think this will happen. There's another gun bill, Senate Bill 1, which deals with restricting areas where you can carry a gun. And I think that these measures are going to get through the session.
What about Senate Bill 745? That's the Gun Violence Accountability Act. It's something that kind of goes a step further than the bill that was already introduced by Democrats. Do you think that likely has a chance to pass? Because we're seeing efforts to get tougher on guns in Annapolis, but could there be conflict here on party lines?
I think the problem with the bill is it's a good bill. Problem is it's been introduced by a Republican. And in Annapolis, the Democrats control things. They may cherry pick a little bit out of the bill, put it in the Senate Bill 889. But for the most part, I don't see it really getting anywhere as far as getting a hearing, et cetera. The bill that I referenced, it's also known as House Bill 481. They're having a hearing on Wednesday at 1. So this is a good sign to show that Annapolis is kind of moving forward on this stuff. Because when you get to public hearing time, there's a good chance things are going to move forward.
All right. And so obviously this is in motion, as you said, this Wednesday. They'll be up for a vote. Are there any other major parts of legislation that we should be keeping our eye on outside of crime?
Good question. First of all, the state is looking to add a constitutional amendment, which would go to the voters next year on protecting abortion rights. Also, another thing. A couple years ago, legislation was passed to increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour in 2025. There's a push to do that for 2023. So for people who are looking to make a little bit more money, there could be a very good thing there. There's a lot of questions about doing something like that because there's still some angst about the economy. Also dealing with the cannabis issue and licensing because they have to get that stuff taken care of by July 1st. The legislature is making some progress on dealing with this because a lot of people have licenses right now for medical cannabis. What they want to do is have legislation so those people can also get licenses for recreational cannabis and help minority businesses be able to participate in the process.
All right, a lot of interesting bills moving through the House. We'll have to keep our eyes on what comes of them. Thank you so much, John Dede, political analyst. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Now, still to come this morning, we are continuing our coverage leading up to this year's Super Bowl, the history being made at Super Bowl 57, and how you can watch it, well, where you can watch it, you know where. Fox 45, right here.
And we are watching some rain moving in today. Lots of green on the radar that's pushing in from the south here. I'll let you know exactly when the heaviest rain is expected to arrive and what it means for all your Super Bowl plans in a couple of minutes. It's 8:42. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News.
Valentine's Day is just 2 days away, and everybody is encouraged to put some love in a letter. You can go ahead and send it to somebody in need. Children's hospitals, nursing homes, shelters, even some frontline employers are taking Valentine's Day cards and treats. St. Jude's Children's Hospital is accepting virtual cards, and the hospital is also taking monetary donations. They've partnered with some Amazon storefronts for giftable items. AARP is bringing back its Cupid Crew initiative. It sends heartfelt messages to socially isolated seniors. And love certainly isn't cheap. Americans plan on spending nearly $26 billion this Valentine's Day. That's according to a survey from the National Retail Federation. On average, most folks say they'll spend about $192. As for presents, the top gifts are candy, greeting cards, and of course, flowers. And we want to see how you are celebrating your loved ones on that loving day, Valentine's Day. Go ahead and just send us your pictures or your videos. You can use the Chime In tab at foxbaltimore.com or use your WBFF app. The Miss HBCU Teen Pageant is just 2 weeks away. We have the pageant's director in studio with us for more on the glitz, glam, pageantry, and the event coming up. And if you haven't realized, wake up now. It's Super Bowl Sunday here on Fox 45. Our coverage starts live at 11:30, and it will continue throughout the day to the game, to up to kickoff. And you're watching Fox 45 Morning News. Stick right here. We're all local, all morning. All right, the Miss HBCU teen pageant just 2 weeks away. Daryl Larone, the director of that pageant, here with us, refereeing Morehouse at that.
Yes.
So tell us about the Miss HBCU teen pageant happening in Bowie. Just tell us about the event.
So the Miss HBCU Teen Scholarship Pageant is the only pageant for high school girls of color committed to going to HBCUs. This year we have 23 girls from across the United States flying into Maryland to compete and perform for over $7,000 in scholarships, awards, and prizes.
Wow, so that money goes to their education. They can go to an HBCU if they're choosing. I'm an HBCU grad, so I'm a little bit, excited. So tell me a bit about what folks can expect if they want to come out here and see this. Obviously, some glamorous some pictures here.
So you can expect a lot of different talent. You can expect the showcasing of their growth and progression. This is a lot of their first time being in a pageant. So we're excited that they have a safe space to explore that and explore themselves, especially as they begin to step into their own womanhood and get ready to go to their HBCUs. You got dancers, singers, spoken word artists.
Anyone local from Morgan? Or anyone here from any HBCUs in our area?
So they're all high school students.
Well, right.
So they're
of
high
course.
school, and
they might be wanting to go to one.
Yeah. So we have some girls that are interested in going to Morgan State University. 3 of them are interested in going to Howard University as well. One is going to Delaware State. And one is also going to Coppin State University.
Wonderful.
But our first queen, Erin Christina Carver, is from Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, wow.
And she's currently at Alabama State University. Kalia is also from Baltimore, Maryland. Carlene, our winning queen, our current reigning queen, is from Brooklyn, New York, and she's at Fisk University. So Baltimore is heavy on the map.
Wow,
Baltimore is
that's incredible.
heavy. And Ashlyn is also from Baltimore.
Well, tell me why the pageants are important. I mean, I know from your aspect, it's more of a transformational thing, more than just the outer beauty of it. Talk about that transformational process that happens for young Black girls when they're doing this kind of event.
Seeing pageants, my first time ever seeing a pageant was down in the AUC at Morehouse College, Spelman College, and Clark Atlanta University. After directing, being a part of, and seeing how a pageant can really change someone's life, like you're performing, you're building your confidence, you're communicating, you're also being held accountable at an early stage of your career on campus. So while you're holding this title, you still have to make sure that you protect your brand and the brand that you're representing as that queen.
And truly how you represent yourself, because it changes the way you see yourself and how you show up in the world. I'm
Exactly.
sure. Wow.
Exactly.
So these young women will compete. Tell us the day one more time and
Saturday, March 4th. Saturday, March 4th in Bowie, Maryland. You can get your tickets at www.misshbcuteen.com. And you can watch online too, so you don't have to be in the DMV area. But if you are, pull up and experience this night of magical experience, this night of excellency and achievement. And or watch it online as well.
All right. Well, Darrell Loam, director of the Miss HBCU Teen Scholarship Pageant.
Yes.
Excited for having you. And we've got another pageant queen, in my personal opinion, meteorologist Amy Aronson.
I'm like a big nerd, a big scientist over here. Tracking the rain, pushing in from the south. We do have showers showing up in Anne Arundel County right now. If you're in the Annapolis area, most likely seeing a little bit of light rain, a little bit of drizzle there. Sharp cutoff from who's seeing the rain and who's not. Baltimore actually still dry at the moment, but the rain is creeping in from the south. In Towson, also dry. It's cloudy currently and a little chilly while we wait on the rain. We're all above freezing, though. We've got mid and upper 30s, low 40s to start. As the rain develops and pushes in this afternoon, chilly rain's going to unfold for the rest of the day. So here comes this weather maker, a complex system, area of low pressure spitting to our south there. That's what's shoving all that moisture our direction, and will continue to do that today. So here comes the rain. By 10 a.m., I think Baltimore area seeing the light drizzle. We get some heavier rain actually pushing through this afternoon between 1 and 4 o'clock. Some soaking rain at times at that point, and that will lead us off to kickoff for the Super Bowl. So if you're headed to any watch parties this evening, rain gear is going to be a must. You're going to want to have the rain jacket and the umbrella with you. Looks like some scattered showers will wrap up right around 11 o'clock, and after that, we'll dry things out nicely. Say goodbye to the rain, welcome back some sunshine for your Monday morning drive, heading back to work, back to school. Today, not a lot of sunshine. It's going to be a soggy Sunday. A chilly rain develops this afternoon with highs stuck in the low to mid 40s. Plus, we've got that soaking rain this afternoon and this evening and through much of tonight. perfect excuse to just hang out and watch the Super Bowl. If you're headed to a watch party or watching at home, remember, you can watch it right here on Fox 45. So some exciting stuff there. It's a chilly night with temperatures stuck in the low 40s and upper 30s. By Valentine's Day, at least we're drier. We welcome back some sunshine and some warmer temperatures. We're back in the mid-50s by Tuesday. Leading up to that, temperatures will be warming. So Monday in the upper 50s. Same for Tuesday for Valentine's Day. And that's just the start of a nice little warming trend here. Look at that. The 60s are back both Wednesday and Thursday. Now, coming up in just a couple of minutes, I'll let you know exactly how long these mild temperatures stick around in our full 7-day forecast. It's 8:53. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News. $8.56 on the Super Bowl Sunday. Of course, Ravens not part of the festivities today, but we'll root on someone else, right? Eagles or Chiefs. It's going to be a soggy Super Bowl Sunday here in Baltimore. Perfect excuse to stay in, watch the game. It is right here on Fox 45, so a little reminder there. It's going to be a chilly rain that develops today. Not a pretty evening ahead of us. Mid-40s as that rain develops and continues for much of tonight. It's out of here by tomorrow morning, though, so by the time you head back to work, back to school tomorrow morning, I think the Monday after Super Bowl is like the hardest morning to wake up for a lot of folks. Yeah. It's going to be nice at least. We've got some sunshine back out. Temperatures will be in the milder upper 50s again. And then we've got a nice mild week, not exactly February-like. We've got upper 50s for Valentine's Day on Tuesday, which I love, and then we've got mid-60s on Wednesday. And then we stay in the 60s all the way through Friday.
I don't get it.
Yeah, some chances for rain, but no winter weather in there. Next Saturday, back to reality again. Temperatures will be back in the upper 40s, which is technically right around average. So another week.
Another
comes and
week,
goes without
man.
a big winter weather chance. We'll see what the rest of this winter brings.
And happy birthday.
It's coming tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow, but early birthday.
Early birthday, birthday eve.
All right, everyone have a great day. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Of course, it's happening right here, Fox 45. Stick with us throughout the day. Kickoff at 6:30.